Hey, what's up, everybody? Mark Price here with Devslopes.com, and we are back in the saddle again. Let's see what we've done already so far. When I press the play button, the mystical rock moves up and down. Ooh. Hopefully you have a little more appreciation for the simple mechanics of a game. Maybe before you were playing a game and you're like, this is dumb, this is simple, or you're like, 1 star, this app developer sucks. And maybe your perspective's changing a little bit, being as we had to write a bit of code to make all this come to life, and maybe it's not as easy as you thought it was. At least that's the kind of appreciation I got as I started learning how to build games a while back. So it's going up and down, it's great, but we actually want it to be moving along with the moving platform, similar to how a Flappy Bird game might work. And so what do we know? We know that we already have code that moves stuff around. As you can see right there, those platforms are moving, and we don't want to rewrite code. That would be silly. That violates the DRY principle, which is do not repeat yourself. It's a very important programming principle, and we don't want to repeat ourselves. So how can we reuse this code? Well, unfortunately, this is disappearing over here, way down here, and reappearing way over here, whereas these blocks, or this rock right here, it only needs to cover a short space of screen, so we really only need it to disappear like over here and reappear like over here. And maybe we'll do like 3 of them. And so the code can't be 100% the same, but I think there's something we can do. So let's go ahead and do some refactoring and as well as write some more code. So let's go look at our object. That's the thing that moves. What do we know? We know it has an object speed. That's changed on the global publicly on the inspector. We got a reset position. This is the X position, at which point we should reset the platform. In this case, it's a very specific number for the platform. And then down here in the update function, okay, we are translating. This is what we want. But look at this. We're also hard coding in a position for it to move to. So the place that we're going to move it to when it's done, when it's being reset. So what I want to do is make these things into serializable fields so they can be more reusable. It's never good to have what's called magic numbers. When you hard code values in your code here, they're called magic numbers. And usually it's not a good thing. It can be in a game. It's a little bit different with games, but in most cases we still don't want this number down here. So what do we want to do? We want to change this to a serialized field. And I'll go ahead and leave the negative 21 in there. It's just set it as a default value. It's fine for now. We could have done 0, but I don't want to forget what number that is. So that's the reset position. And then we need another variable, a new one, that's publicly available for the starting position. So serialized field, and we're going to say private float start position. And that's going to be equal to 79.67F. Okay, that's looking great. So what we can do here is change this to the start position. Okay, that's looking good. So there's our start position. And so what did we do? All we did was we made this variable right here public or serializable, so it's exposed, so we can adjust it in the inspector in the Unity. And then over here we've just put this inside a new variable called start position. So this should all work just the same as it did before. Okay, minor changes here. Let's take a look and see. Okay, so the platform's still moving. Let's make sure it resets as expected. This one over here on the left, it's a little bit small, but it should do its thing. Boom, and there it did. So it's all working as we would expect. Now, why did we do that? It's because we want this to be more reusable. If we hard code things in here, then we can't let our rock use it. So this class is called object. So I think a simple solution to make this work is to, instead of inherit from mono behavior, let's go ahead and inherit from object. Okay, so we're going to use inheritance here, which is an objective or an object-oriented C, Objective-C, not Objective-C, object-oriented programming feature. And so what's going to happen is we're going to have our rock inherit from the update here. Okay, and in order to do that, we need to change how this update function, the signature of it. We need to call this protected and virtual. This will allow our subclass, which is the rock, to override the update function, or rather to call it and then call the parent class's implementation of it. And this, of course, still inherits from mono behavior. Great. So now what I can do is go to my rock, okay, which is now inheriting from object. And over here in my update function, okay, we can say protected override, and then void, protected override void update, I believe should do the trick. And then we can just call base.update, like so. Okay, and what is this going to do? Well, it's going to call this update function, but then it's also going to call this update function here. Okay, so if this all worked as I hope it works, the rock should start moving to the left along with the platform. So let's go ahead and zoom in here a little bit. All right, press play. As you can see, it is definitely moving. One problem we have, though, is that the reset position is going to be way down here. Okay, it's going to disappear way off the screen, way too far from where we actually want it. It's still going. He's just doing his thing. We'll play it out to make sure he does reset. There he goes, and he's back over here. See how long that took? That's way too long. Okay, it's a little bit slow too, but I guess it could be a she rock. I keep saying he, you know, but you know, it could very well be a female rock. Okay, not a sexist. Okay, so we've got a rock, and it's moving and it's resetting, but it's resetting in the wrong position. So I think we just need to figure out what the right position is, and we can change that here. So you've learned some very important principles. Okay, we just had our, rather than duplicating all this code, we just had our rock inherit from object, and it inherits that code automatically, which is really cool. And if you design your code and your class in the right way, it can be universal and reusable, just like we did here. And then what's cool is anything else we wanted to throw in here, like let's say a coin perhaps in between this or something, we could put the same object, inherit from object, to move it. Okay, so we've got a rock right here. And what I want to do is just kind of position these things. So one's slightly off the screen, one's in the middle, and one's over here on the right. And we'll have to probably play around with it to get it right completely. So here's our rock. Let's just move it slightly over here, about where we want it to reset. So I want it to reset right about here. Okay, and that position for resetting is going to be the -7.44. And so I'll scroll down here in the rock script. And so for the reset position, we're going to say -7.44. And that's looking good. Okay, and well, what about the starting position? Well, let's move it over here, slightly over here. And this is where we may have to modify some things, but the starting position will say 9.93. Okay, pretty dang cool. I'm going to make it a little bit faster. No, we'll leave it at 1. We'll see how 1 does. Okay, so what I want to do now is make so we actually have multiple rocks on the screen. I want to make it so there are 3 of them, so they're more continuous. So I'm going to Command D to duplicate it. Put this about here, just from edge to edge. Okay, and Command D again. Do the same thing about. I'm eyeballing it. I could have done exact numbers, but I don't care that much. Okay, so there's my 3 rocks. They're looking good. And let's just go ahead and take these 3 rocks now and just move them onto the right side of the screen. Give it some leeway so when the game starts, they kind of start to move in. And then let's see what we should do. Okay, so it's moving. It's looking good. We'll want it to reset once it's off the screen, and hopefully it appears in a good position over here on the right-hand side. Okay, notice how it appeared right here in front of this one, actually, which is not good. So what I want to do is I actually want to increase this more so. I want this guy here to go right around over here. I'm just eyeballing it again. And so we're going to say 19 is the number. So I'm going to turn off the play. And for the starting position of all 3 of these, ugh, come on. Come on. There we go. So for the starting position for all 3 of these, let's just make this 20. Okay. Now let's go ahead and play again. And when it resets, let's see if it gives us about an equal space. We're just eyeballing it again just to make sure it goes about where we want it to. So the rocks are going up and down. Now imagine you've got your little character and he's jumping over or under these things. You got to time it correctly. Okay, it's going off the screen, should disappear soon. And it's still not as far away as I would like, but that's okay because the next one's going to be equally apart and it's going to be more mathematical, more symmetrical. A little bit further actually than I wanted. So let it wait one more time. Yeah, there. Now it's lining up. Let's see how it looks. So that one comes up. Oh, you know, that's not bad actually. That looks really good. One thing that does look dumb is they're all going up and down at the exact same time. So we want them to stagger different times, okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to pause the video that you're watching, and I want you to go and figure out how to stagger these so they don't look like they're going up and down all at the exact same time. How can you stagger these so it looks a little more natural? I mean, we are building this demon place, and I don't know what naturally means, but it doesn't feel right. So I want you to go and do that, stop it, do it, and come back, and let's see how you did it. Did you do it? Are you back? Or am I just pretending that you paused it and now I sound like an idiot? Thanks a lot. So what I want you to do, if you haven't done it already, is something really easy. We're just going to grab the second rock here. We're just going to drag it down a little bit because it's still got to go down. It's got to go up to its different positions, right? And which is fine. I mean, you don't want to drag it high above the max position or below it, but you know, this is probably okay. Just, you know, something like that. Let's see how it looks. Save it. We'll run it. If you wrote a bunch of code and you just watch what I did right now, you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, that was so easy. So that one's going up and down. Let's see how the other one comes on when it comes on the screen. Hey, look at that. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah. I like it. Let's make sure they're repeating nicely. Coming together well. Yeah. Okay, I'm really liking it. So we're gonna live with this. Now, it feels like it's going a little bit slow. I think the platforms are moving at a speed of 4, which they are. We can see how it is. I don't know how it's going to work though with the. I'm going to select all the rocks at once. You can edit multiple objects at once. I didn't explain that, but I had selected them all and changed them all at once. So I'm selecting these all here, and what I want to do is just change the object speed to the same as the platform, which is 4. Now imagine the characters in here. It's a little bit fast, right? Yeah, I think it's a little bit fast. What if we, on these platforms, we changed these down to, let's say, 2, and then we changed the rocks to 2 as well. Maybe make everything a little bit slower. So it's going slower now. I think this is a lot more manageable. You got your character, he's flapping, go to the top, go to the top. Now let him fall, but don't touch the ground. Okay, go back up and hop and hop. It's looking good. So I'm going to call this good. What we've done here is we did a little bit of real programming using inheritance with object-oriented programming, and then we made these guys move up and down, which is really cool. And that's it. We'll call this video done, and we'll just keep on trucking. Mark Price at Devslopes.com, moving on and forward.